Jamie? Morning, gentlemen.
Oh, morning. Call this morning? Oh.
Yes, it is. Would you like Liz to send in some coffee?
Coffee? Oh, no more coffee. Oh, hey, speak for yourself. I think coffee sounds great.
Right.
Oh. Right.
Yes, Liz. Would you send in 2 cups? Better make that 3 cups of coffee. Yeah, black, I think. Oh, listen, Liz. Why don't you call down to the cafeteria, have them send up a couple of breakfast. Scrambled eggs, toast, bacon, you know, the usual. Yeah, thank you. And yes, right, orange juice will be just fine. No, I don't think they want anything else, Liz. Bye-bye.
Well, Mac, look at that.
Wow.
Took some time, but we did it. Yeah. The organizational development chart is, I think, finished and ready for that meeting.
It certainly is. And from the looks of it, you've done a great job.
Thank you, Mac.
I mean, this is really terrific.
Well, we did begin to have our doubts around 2 a.m., as I recall.
There was no reason to. All the detail you went into and the overall design, the whole thing. Fellas, I'm really pleased.
Good.
I owe you.
Good morning. Thought you'd enjoy the coffee right away.
Thank you, Liz.
What on earth is wrong with this room? Didn't those cleaning people get to this office? I cannot imagine
Liz,
what they do.
thank you very much. If we need anything else, we'll call you.
All right. The food should be up shortly.
Great.
Thanks, Liz. Thanks.
Oh, I have an idea. Why don't I call food service and ask them to set up your breakfast in the executive dining room? Wouldn't that be nice?
That's a great idea, Liz. Why don't you put it into operation right now?
We'll be right down there, Liz.
Will do.
Terrific.
Well, what do you say we get that food?
Yeah, sure. Sounds great.
Hey, wait a minute. We may not serve gourmet food here, but it's not all that bad, Sandy.
No, I'm sorry. I didn't mean that at all. It's just that I just remembered that Blaine's trial really gets underway this morning.
Oh.
Mac, I volunteered to be a witness for the defense.
How do you think the trial will turn out?
I don't know, Clarice. It could go either way.
That's just not fair. Blaine would never hurt anybody deliberately.
Yeah, you know that. But Brian and Jerry have to convince that jury, and that's not going to be easy.
I know, but they're going to get Blaine off. I know it.
Finish your breakfast, I'll get it.
What's the matter, honey? Something wrong?
Yeah, it's a process server.
What?
I've been subpoenaed to appear in court as a witness for the prosecution.
All rise.
This court is now in session. Judge Alan Maxwell presiding.
This court will please come to order. Opening statements will be presented today in the case of the state versus Blaine Ewing.
And now, the continuing story of Another World.
I don't understand, honey. Why would you be called as a witness for the prosecution?
I don't know.
It doesn't make any sense. The district attorney knows that you would never say anything to hurt Blaine.
Colton's shrewd. I don't trust him.
Well, I don't like him, and I never did. And it's just not right.
Well, sometimes that's the way it is, Clarice. You know, this trial comes at a perfect time for Colton. I mean, he's trying to get the mayoral seat right now. And this is going to make him a hero.
By convicting an innocent woman? But that's not going to win his silly election for him.
Look, he's always grandstanding for the public benefit. He doesn't care who he steps over in order to get it.
It's like he doesn't even care about the people that are involved.
Well, that's just it. He cares, but it's all for the wrong reasons. You know, Colton is a user. He doesn't care who he hurts as long as he gets to the top. And if he has his way, he's going to ride this trial right into the mayor's seat.
Yeah, it's here by the phone, honey.
Oh, good, thank you. Seems like whenever you're in a rush, nothing goes right.
Take your time. I'll drop you at the complex on my way to work.
Thanks.
I saw you at the hospital yesterday.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry I didn't come in to see you, but I was kind of rushed for time.
That's okay. What were you doing there?
I had an appointment.
Oh, with who?
Dr. Delaney.
Are you all right?
Oh, I'm fine. Really.
You're keeping something from me, Sally.
Look, why don't we talk about this?
No, I want to know why you went and saw Olivia.
Okay. I went to see Dr. Delaney to get birth control pills.
Sally!
I don't want to start right now.
What do you expect me to do? Just smile and say it's all right? You have my blessing?
I don't need your blessings. I am old enough now to make my own decisions. And I did what's right for me.
Well, obviously, you don't know what's right.
And you do? What do you want? Do you want me to get pregnant?
No! Of course not.
Okay, then what do you want me to do?
Well, I was hoping you would at least discuss this with me. We could have talked about it.
Like we are right now? Wouldn't have done any good, Mother. Sure, we start off talking fine. And you listen very patiently. And then you proceed to tell me what to do.
We could have talked about it.
No. You'd only talk me out of it. You know, a girl my age doesn't have any choices. I made the right one.
I wish you had come to me.
Mother, what for? We never talk. This is the perfect example of this. All we do is fight. Unless I remember that you're always right and I'm always wrong.
That isn't true.
Yes, it is true. And I'm sick of going through this with you. I made a decision and I'm right, and you're going to have to stop treating me like a child.
Sally, let's talk about this when I get home from work.
I don't know what's left to talk about, Mother.
Ladies and gentlemen, the case that I present to you is a simple one. It is the story of a woman accused of murdering a powerful man, a man who had become her lover. Jordan Scott died of a gunshot wound. His death was the inevitable conclusion to a plan that was set in motion a long time ago. Now, ladies and gentlemen, in this trial, the defense will attempt to prove that Blaine Ewing's self-confessed murder of Jordan Scott was, in fact, done in self-defense. It took place during a struggle in an attempt to save her own life. Now, they will paint for you the image of a woman fighting desperately against a terrible threat. Well, it's convenient. We of the prosecution, however, contend that the death of Jordan Scott was not an accident, but was rather a premeditated act that was planned and executed by the defendant, Blaine Ewing. Now, let us examine the defendant. Is this young, attractive woman capable of such a calculated act of violence? Yes, I think more than capable, as our evidence will show. You see, through her professional associations, Miss Ewing has long been exposed to violence and tragedy. She has been surrounded by broken lives and by bloodshed. All of this largely due to the climate of greed and self-advancement which existed within the company for whom she worked. Now, the company, her employers, if you will. It's difficult to separate Miss Ewing from her employers. They have been an integral part of her life for quite some time, so quite naturally have greed and self-advancement become a part of her life. Therefore, it is no surprise that through her relationship with Jordan Scott, who presided over this organization, that Miss Ewing had advanced herself to quite a lofty position within the company. In fact, Jordan Scott was the last obstacle standing in her way. Upon his demise, there could be no doubt as to who his successor would be. There was only one choice: Blaine Ewing. So, there you see, within her grasp, absolute power. What else did Blaine Ewing stand to profit from the death of Jordan Scott? Well, there was considerable financial incentive. Now, Miss Ewing and Mr. Scott shared a rather luxurious estate, a place that was once owned by Iris Carrington. Now, upon the death of Jordan Scott, Miss Ewing would inherit the property and, of course, would become the recipient of any profits from a possible resale of the property. So, you see, there was quite a lot of money to be had. But now we come to the most important, the most powerful motive of all. For this is the passion behind this heinous act. You see, it was what Blaine Ewing stood to gain in her private life that made, for her, murder worth all the risk involved. She had one great desire: to remedy her broken marriage with her ex-husband, Jerry Grove. And with her unwanted lover out of the way, she would be free. With Jordan Scott dead, such a reunion would now be possible. Everything was within her grasp: money, power, a reunion with the man she loved. A single act would accomplish all of this. And now Miss Ewing will tell us, indeed, that she did act, but that it was an act of self-defense, that there was a struggle. A struggle over a record book, a record of Jordan Scott's evil deeds. Well, I suggest that this testimony, when you hear it, is nothing more than a last-minute fantasy created by a woman in search of a reason for a murder already committed. Well, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I believe that Blaine Ewing had ample reason to murder Jordan Scott. But it wasn't over an imaginary book. It wasn't to escape from a life-threatening situation. I believe that Blaine Ewing's reason for murdering Jordan Scott was nothing greater than a calculated desire to put her life together as she had planned, with financial, personal, professional rewards at the end of this self-constructed rainbow. And that, with careful and premeditated intent, she set about to murder her lover, Jordan Scott. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, in the course of this trial, the prosecution will prove, beyond any reasonable doubt, that Blaine Ewing is indeed guilty of the murder of Jordan Scott, but guilty of murder in the first degree. Thank you.
Morning, sweetheart.
Hi, Grandpa. Are you busy?
No, just catching up on the world's news.
Do you think we could talk?
For you, always. But shouldn't you be at work?
Yeah, well, I went in, but I came right back home.
Aren't you feeling well?
Oh, no, I'm okay. I guess I just got a lot on my mind.
What is it, honey?
Grandpa, I'm thinking of moving out.
Oh. Well, you know, if you do, I'll miss you very much.
Oh, I'll miss you, too. You're always here for me to talk to.
What brought this on?
Mom. Grandpa, every time I turn around, she is giving me the third degree about something.
Well, it might seem that way, but it's just because she loves you so much.
Yeah, I know she does. And I love her, too. But, you know, she's got to realize that I'm old enough now to make decisions of my own. I don't know, is that selfish of me?
No, of course not. Young people need to get out on their own, try their wings. Is your mother the only reason you want to leave?
Well, she's part of it, but...
Sounds like there's a pretty important other reason, huh?
Yeah, there is.
Leigh Hobson?
Uh-huh.
Oh, I thought so. He's a very nice young man, Sally.
I'm thinking about moving in with him, Grandpa.
Are you sure you're not rushing into this, honey? I mean, your mother and you will be able to work things out.
No. I've thought about this for a long time. And it's not just Mom. I really care for Leigh, and I want to spend all my free time with him.
Well, this is a very big decision you're making, Sally.
Oh, I know.
But you're a bright girl. You always have been. I trust you to make the right decision. And if you've thought this through very carefully, and if this is really what you want to do, I guess I'd have to tell you to go through with it, as long as it's for the right reasons.
I love you, Grandpa.
Oh, I love you too, honey. Be happy.
I will.
Are you sure it's a good idea to get on that witness stand, Sandy?
I don't think I've got any choice. Got to help Blaine in any way I can.
Well, I certainly admire your guts. That's what you want to do, I'm with you all the way.
So am I, Sandy, for whatever that's worth.
It's worth a lot, Jamie. Thanks.
Now, look, you two worked very hard and very late last night, so I'm going to have Alvaro bring the car around. As soon as you've had something to eat, I want you both to go home and get some rest. I don't want to see you around here.
Yeah, I'm too tired to argue about that.
Oh, you got a deal.
Okay, let's eat.
Oh, yeah, good idea.
Mac, we'll see you later.
Right, and thanks again. You
Oh,
did a
sure.
terrific job.
Okay.
Hi.
Hi.
Am I interrupting something?
No. As a matter of fact, we were just leaving. See you later.
Much later.
Okay.
Come on in, Phil. Please, sit down.
Thank you. I've been giving a lot of thought to that question you asked me the other day.
Yeah, Philip, I really need to know how tight a hold the mob has on the connection and on the people that work for it.
Well, as a matter of fact, I was just going over there today to see Jason Dunlap and Melissa Needon. You know, if anybody could answer any of those questions, those two can.
I certainly appreciate your diligence in this.
Well, I've always had a curious mind. And unanswered questions always make it just a bit more curious.
I hope your questions lead somewhere, because you can't realize how much the answer might mean to me.
Ladies and gentlemen, I must agree with the district attorney on one point, and one point only. This is indeed an uncomplicated case. The defendant, Blaine Ewing, has admitted that she shot Jordan Scott. She has not denied that fact. But what you must decide is whether it was, as the prosecution contends, a premeditated act or an act of a woman trying desperately to protect her own life. Now, you will see, as this story unfolds, a young woman trapped in a dangerous set of circumstances, trapped in a relationship with a man who lived by the law of violence and vengeance, and whose machinations were all directed at controlling everyone who fell into his dangerous sphere. In a very real sense, Blaine Ewing became his victim. Now, we will prove that with each day she was involved with Jordan Scott on a professional and personal level, the threat to her own life increased. Now, the situation that was growing worse for so long was becoming unbearable. How to escape? Murder? Then why did she wait so long? And then to have chosen such an awkward manner to kill Scott. And then to confess to that very same shooting. No, ladies and gentlemen. Blaine Ewing could never have premeditated a murder, no matter how impossible her life had become. The only plan she had was to escape from Jordan Scott and to break the hold he had on her life. So she ran. But the running failed. So she returned to Scott to protect those she cared about and to remove from them the threats that were surrounding her once more. Blaine Ewing is a woman of courage and strong character, whose innocence will be apparent as this trial unfolds. The horror that had become a way of life for her, the horror that she so valiantly, without any thought for her own safety, tried to escape. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Brian.
Blaine, I couldn't have said what I did if I didn't believe they were true.
This court will be recessed until 2 o'clock this afternoon, which time the prosecution will call its first witness.
All rise.
Mrs. Corey, hasn't Mr. Corey been in touch with you?
No, he hasn't. Why, Louise?
He's been trying to reach you all morning. He's taking Amanda out on a little picnic.
Oh, have they left yet?
No, not until later this afternoon.
Oh, well, then I'll have a chance to visit with her.
Of course, I'll tell them you're here.
Okay.
Welcome home, welcome home. Thank you.
Oh, Mamie. Are you all right?
Yeah.
It's good
This
to have
calls
you
for
home.
a great celebration.
Yeah.
You look tired.
Yeah.
Brian, thank you for bringing my son home to me.
Nothing could have pleased me more, Rachel.
Oh, did you eat? Are you hungry?
Jimmy?
Don't taste that food.
I know. It's terrible.
Yes, well, you know.
Oh, is it
I
awful?
want to propose a toast to this family that's been scattered to the four winds. Okay, may we all be together for a long, long time from now on. Hello, Rachel.
Hello, Mac. I thought I'd come over and visit with Amanda, take her out for a while.
That's a great idea. Be ashamed to waste a wonderful day like this inside. We're going on a little picnic ourselves later.
Yes, I heard. I saw you and Alice together last night at Aubert's.
Yes, well, there's no longer any reason for that to be of concern to you.
No, I guess not.
Did you have a visit with Louise when you came in?
No, not really.
She really misses you.
Well, I have Louise back tending to the flowers and the plants. The gardens must look lovely.
Yeah, they do. Still, neither she nor the gardener had the gift for growing things that you had.
Well, I guess I'll wait outside until Amanda comes down.
Sally? Honey, I called the complex. Cecile told me you came on home. Sally?
Now, would you please state your full name and your position?
Dr. Edward J. Barrows, coroner for Bay County.
Yeah. Now, Dr. Barrows, is it your responsibility as coroner to determine the exact cause of death in cases such as this?
Yes, sir, it is.
And did you examine Jordan Scott's body after the shooting on this fateful night?
Yes, I did.
And what were your conclusions?
Jordan Scott was killed by a single gunshot wound to the lower chest, right side, and that he bled to death as a result of that wound.
Now, Dr. Barrows, in your estimation, was the time between the shooting and the eventual time of death sufficient time to allow for death to occur through a loss of blood?
If Mr. Scott had been shot with a smaller caliber, it would be rather unlikely. However, in this instance, yes.
I've got a question for you to ask him. I think it could be important.
Thank you. I have no more questions, Your Honor.
Your witness, Mr. Bancroft.
Thank you, Your Honor. Brian, do you mind if I cross-examine for you? I know. Let's ask a question. Your Honor, my associate, Mr. Grove, will cross-examine. Dr. Barrows, was an autopsy performed on Jordan Scott?
No, it wasn't, since I determined cause of death by close examination of the body.
Were there any other signs of bleeding other than in the area of the gunshot wound itself?
Yes, there was some bleeding from the nose and mouth. But then that's very common with a chest wound.
Thank you, Doctor. I have no further questions at this time.
Does the prosecution wish to redirect?
Yes. Yes, Your Honor, I do. Now, Dr. Barrows, you just stated that no autopsy was performed on the body of Jordan Scott. Would you please explain for the jury specifically why your office did not perform this autopsy?
The cause of death was evident. Mr. Scott bled to death as a result of that wound. Therefore, an autopsy, in my opinion, was not necessary.
Thank you, Dr. Barrows. I have no more questions.
Jason, you could do me a tremendous favor by helping me out. See, I'm doing an article about the Blaine Ewing trial. No, I don't see how I can help. No, Jason, what I want to do is include a history of her association with the arena and the organization there.
Well, you see, I don't know anything about the arena.
Yeah, but from what I understand, Jess Cooper, who used to be the owner of the arena, has now bought Mitch Blake's shares here at the Connection.
Yeah, like I said, I don't know anything about how the arena was run.
Yeah, but Jason, he was a major figure at the arena. I mean, now he's part owner here at the Connection.
What are you after, Philip?
All I want to know. Now, really, you can tell me. Has he ever asked you to do anything shady here?
No, never. You see, this is my club. I told Jess Cooper up front that I would handle all the major policy decisions.
And he agreed?
Sure, he agreed. He knows a good business deal when he sees one.
Oh, come on, Melissa, what about you? Do you know anything suspicious?
I'm just a singer and a hostess here.
Okay. Well, look, if you do hear something, anything about Jess Cooper and the arena, would you let me know?
Well, sure, but don't count on much. We barely see the guy.
No, I understand that, Jason. Okay. Bye.
Why does he make me so nervous?
Because that is one man who is not going to stop until he gets exactly what he wants.
Jason Dunlap?
Yes.
And Melissa Needham.
Yeah?
Here you go.
Thank you.
Jason. Why are we being subpoenaed to testify for the prosecution?
I don't know. But I don't like this one bit.
I'm sorry, Mac. I didn't mean to just break in on you like this, but I had to talk to somebody.
It's perfectly all right. You did the right thing. Now sit down.
Thanks.
Now tell me what's happened. Why are you so upset?
It's Sally. She's left home, Mac.
Start from the beginning. How did it all come about?
It's all my fault. I just never seem to know when to keep quiet and stay calm.
I don't understand. Why did she leave home?
I saw her yesterday at the hospital. I was concerned, so I asked her about it this morning. I was afraid she was sick.
What did she say?
She said she had an appointment with the doctor to get a prescription for birth control pills. I snapped. Something inside me just snapped. Anyway, I told her she should have talked to me first before making such a big decision.
Yes, well, that doesn't sound so terrible to me.
Oh, Mac. She says she can't talk to me. And when I got upset, we started to argue. It forced her to leave. I'm responsible for my daughter leaving home.
Now, listen. Don't do this to yourself. If it hadn't been this, it would have been something else. She's just of an age now where she's got to test her maturity. It's part of growing up. I remember when Jamie left. Rachel and I just thought everything would go wrong, and everything turned out fine.
Oh, that was different, Mac. Jamie was ready to leave. You and Rachel helped him to start a life of his own. That's the way I wanted it to be with Sally. I always thought that when she left, it would be on good terms. You know, it sounds silly, but I always hoped. I always hoped that we would be best friends.
No, that's not silly at all. You and Sally are going to be together again. You just have to give it a little time, huh?
I don't think so, Mac. I'm afraid I've lost her for good this time.
No, you haven't. Now, that's not true.
Oh, excuse me. I didn't mean to interrupt anything.
Captain Petroni, would you please describe for the jury the type of gun used to kill Jordan Scott?
It was a .38 caliber police service revolver.
And who was the owner of this gun?
It was registered to Jerry Grove.
Well, now, doesn't it strike you as curious that Blaine Ewing had access to Mr. Grove's weapon?
Object, Your Honor. The prosecution is implying that a conspiracy existed against Jordan Scott. Now, there is no basis for such an accusation, only his twisted suspicions.
Jerry, sit down.
Calm down right now, do you hear me?
Sit down!
Objection sustained. I must warn you, Mr. Grove, this court will not tolerate any outbursts. If you can't conduct yourself in a manner appropriate to this court, I shall have you removed.
I apologize for my associate, Your Honor. And I assure you, it won't happen again.
See that it doesn't. Please continue, Mr. Colton.
Thank you, Your Honor. Now, Captain Petroni, is this the gun in question?
Yes, it is.
Your Honor, I would like to have this gun entered as Exhibit A.
However, we couldn't pick up any clean fingerprints from it.
Yes. Your Honor, would you please instruct the witness to refrain from offering unsolicited information?
Captain Petroni, please answer only the questions put to you by counsel.
Yes, sir.
Now, Captain Petroni, when you found the gun, were there any bullets left in the chamber?
No.
So when the shots were fired, Blaine Ewing literally emptied the gun into the body of Jordan...
I object, Your Honor. It has been established that there was only one shot fired that night. Mr. Colton's comments are based purely on conjecture.
I said corrected. I withdraw my comments. Certainly what I meant to say was...
Objection, Your Honor.
Objection sustained.
Your Honor, I have no more questions. Your witness.
I have no questions at this time, Your Honor.
So be it.
I guess I better go.
Alice.
Thank you, Mac. Thank you for listening.
It isn't necessary for you to leave.
No, really, Alice, it's all my fault. I had no idea you were here. I never would have intruded on your little tete-a-tete.
You don't understand at all, Rachel.
I think I do. Anyway, Amanda wanted to stay outside with Louise a little longer, but they'll both be coming in pretty soon, so maybe you two could find another way of spending your time while she's around.
Rachel. Rachel. You've got this all wrong, you know?
Oh, Mac, you really don't owe me any explanation.
I'm not offering explanations, but I can tell you the truth if you have the decency to listen.
All right, go ahead.
Alice came over here because she's very upset. Sally is having some very serious problems. I was just trying to give her some comfort, and that's all there was to that.
Well, that was very thoughtful of you, Mac.
She needed somebody to talk to, and I was willing to listen.
Well, that may be. But why is it it's right for you to have romantic little dinners with Alice and to go out on picnics with her with our daughter, and it's not right for me and Mitch?
Alice isn't going on any picnic.
I guess the difference is that I haven't hired a detective to follow you around.
You haven't listened to a word I said. This situation is quite different, you know. We are not living together, and we are not sleeping together.
Can you prove that in a court of law? Because it didn't look so innocent to me.
You really are impossible. You know that, though.
Bye, Mac.
Goodbye.
All right. Listen, excuse me a second.
What a nice way to start my evening.
Oh, thanks. Listen, I need to talk to you, Melissa.
I gotta talk to you, too. We had some visitors here this afternoon. Both Jason and I have been subpoenaed to testify for the prosecution in Blaine's trial.
I'm sorry about that. I really didn't want you to get involved. Listen, I might as well tell you. Melissa, I'm probably going to take the stand, too. I think I'm going to be testifying for the defense.
You crazy?
Melissa, look. I was on the run with Blaine and Jerry, right? That's bound to be a big part of the trial. Now, if I can help Blaine by being straight with him about what I know about the gang that she was involved with, I'll do it.
If you live that long, this one scares me.
Tell me about it. You know, I was almost run down tonight.
Are you serious?
No, listen, I'm just kidding. Anyway, I've got my guardian angel here with me.
This one really frightens me.
Yeah, me too. Hey, look, there's nothing we can do about it tonight, so why don't you let me buy you a drink?
Better make it a double.
All right. Bartender, a double scotch on the rocks?
Oh, Scotch. Melissa, you sounded fantastic.
Ah, hey, you hear that?
No, I mean it. You know, I had an idea when you were singing. Have you ever thought of doing an article for a magazine or something?
No.
Here's your drink.
Thanks.
No, I mean it. How'd you like to do one for Brava?
Oh, no. Hey, I don't think that people are going to be really interested in reading a story about a small-town
Oh,
nightclub
come on.
singer,
Don't
no.
underestimate yourself. I think it'd make a great story. Really, I do. Come on.
Okay. Why not?
Great.
Who is it?
Me!
What's up?
How'd you like a roommate?
Ryan, what's wrong? You hardly said a word on the way back from the courtroom. Was it the trial?
Yes, Jerry. Particularly your conduct during the trial. What you did, the manner in which you objected was totally unacceptable. And I won't stand for it, Jerry.
But, Brian, Colton insinuated that I practically gave Blaine the gun in order for her to kill Jordan Scott. Now, that's not true.
But you acted out of emotion without thinking about the consequences. You were playing right into Colton's hands.
I'm sorry, Brian.
Look, Jerry, I know how you feel about this trial, but the major part of Blaine's defense may depend on how we conduct ourselves in that courtroom. Now, your actions may have hurt our case.
It won't happen again.
Good. Okay, let's get some work done. Prepare for tomorrow.
These are all the indices and reference sources you've got?
Oh, yes, they are. This pharmaceutical index was just published a few months ago. I'd say you've exhausted the subject.
Great. I just think they've got what I'm looking for.
Well, if they don't, I'd say it doesn't exist. It looks like you've got your work cut out for you.
Yes, it does, doesn't it?
Join us each weekday at this time for the continuing story of Another Word.